So let me set the scene. You're cleaning up your room, organizing your desk, and you come across an old notebook. But not just any notebook. This was your childhood drawing journal. And you think flipping through the pages you're gonna be hit by wave after wave of childhood nostalgia. But then you start looking, and oh. So that's basically what I'm doing today, but with paint schemes. Now some of these date back to like 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I haven't seen them since then, so maybe they're better than I remember. Oh. Ooh. All right, this is rough. I'm not gonna lie, this is a bad start. So this one's from 2015, and oh man. I mean, this thing checks all the boxes. We got a really grainy Sprint Cup logo. I don't even know what the hell this number is. We got the old Instagram logo, Subway logo that doesn't quite wrap around correctly. Oh, look at that. I didn't turn the mask off. That's why you can see all the lining right here. And oh, look at the Subway logo. Ooh, look at that lining right there. That was definitely done by hand. I'd bet $1 million that there's a Goodyear logo right here and I just forgot to change the color. Oh, and the grainy EP logo. Wow, I really didn't know what I was doing. This car is such an anomaly because I made a better version of the Subway car a year before. Like, I think that objectively looks better than the other one. Rough start. Let's move on to 2016. All right, we're already looking better, but also this isn't my design. This car was technically designed by Raja Karuth, current NASCAR driver, which is pretty cool, but also I think I did him a little dirty. Like, we got the yellow Goodyear logo on a white base. Still don't know how to remove the mask. Oh, look at that. It's the Chevrolet S. The Chevrolet S. Ooh, that lining on the logo, that does not look very good. Ooh, I totally bucket filled this. This is, that's hard to look at. And here's the following year, again with the damn mask. I didn't even look at that little white bit right there. What am I doing? Now, what's painful about this one is that it's very simple lining. All you have to do is trace the lining on the car, and I still couldn't do it right. Like, the red overlaps right here. There's a bit of white bleeding out from the hood right here. Oh, even the side skirt. Oh my god, it's a straight line, and I still couldn't manage it. Listen, to the common man, this might not be a very big deal, but to a graphic designer, this is everything. All right, I know what you're thinking, but I actually really like this car. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks like shit, but I can see what I was going for. Not sure how to feel about the creepy-ass pirate staring at you from the back, though. Now we're up to 2018, and still using that number. Still don't know how to put borders on logos. Oh, we're still using yellow Goodyear logos on a white base. Oh, I mean, we are getting a little bit better. Like, this car does look a little bit... Oh, what is that? Ooh. So for some of them, I wasn't able to salvage the template, so we're stuck with just images of the car. This was definitely posted on the mod squad because we got that really awful shading right here. Oh my god, I just remembered. I traced that number by hand. What a sane person would do is just boop, boop, grow. Instead, I definitely took multiple hours to trace the number, and it only gets more painful. Honestly, I used to really love this car, and now I really don't. All right, this one I remember being the best car that I designed that whole year, and now looking back, oh my god. What is that lining? Holy shit. I will say, those Home Depot Parody logos, they look pretty good. But oh my god, if I just could figure out how to line up lines, it's not that hard. And then I traced a third layer of the 49. You could tell because some places it has a really, really thick border, and some places it just doesn't have a border. And as if I wasn't lazy enough, I just kind of made the same design but changed the color. I guess they're not like exactly the same, but I mean, you know, come on. That's my very first job. Oh boy. I do really like the film reel just kind of like dancing along the side of the car. Oh, look at that. I finally figured out how to put a border on a logo. Oh, and I even snuck in the little Cheetos popcorn ad right here. Don't ask how it's made. All right, we got a Terry Labonte throwback right here. We got some pretty accurate fonts. Oh, and oh my god, I lined it correctly. Holy shit. This is a big deal for me. Like, this was hard back then. And this was also when I started doing Replica Schemes. This is Michael McDowell's 2018 Loves car. I'm looking for like grave errors, and I'm just not finding any. Like, it's actually pretty well designed. Here's Trevor Bain's Advocare car. Looks pretty. What? That, I wasn't even close. I did so good with the McDowell car, even lined it up on the rear. Why did I give up with the Trevor Bayne car? Look at that. That's disgusting. Why would I believe this is the last of the 2018 Replica Schemes. Why does it look stitched on? Like the 5 Hour logo, it looks stitched onto the car. Here's where we begin some throwbacks. Here's Logan Shore's Dr. Pepper throwback. I don't know who this was to, but I just noticed the 2 different Dr. Pepper logos. Very nice. Here's a Cale Yarborough throwback with the Busch beer. Oh, come on. Ooh, here's an original Ray-Ban car that I made. Obviously, this is where I started using gradients, but I still couldn't figure out how to fucking line shit. Now, you might be saying, wow, Connor, those are some really shitty flames. Those look awful. Well, here's the thing. I didn't make them. I just looked up like Jeff Gordon flames. I found like a totally different template, and I just kind of like pasted it onto mine. Like you could tell, like right here, that this does not line up at all. Why did I do this? Why did I get away with this? Somebody should have stopped me. Holy shit. This one's actually pretty good. It's very much a Ty Majeski-esque iRacing car. I think the number looks good. The logo looks good. Honestly, it's a pretty good car. If only I didn't cut off the driver's hand. It's funny how when I designed other people's cars, I actually tried to make them look good, but when I designed my own. And last but not least from 2018, definitely my favorite car of the year was this Blaze McKinney Dale Jr. throwback. I mean, the Goodyear logo looks a little weird, the name rail is kind of off, but other than that, I was able to get the lining right here. I even have the little number texture right here. It's a pretty good looking car. I'm pretty proud of it. Oh, I just noticed. Oh, what is that? Man, and I was actually really happy with this car. Now we move on to 2019, and this car makes me irrationally angry. It's my 2019 Ellie Productions car. It's a pretty straightforward paint scheme, like it's just a swoosh on the side of the car, easy. But if you look really closely, you'll see this line ends right here. My lazy ass just used an eraser tool, and then just started it again down here. And it doesn't even line up with the rear. It's disgusting. And I did it twice. I did another version, a night version of this car, and it sucks just as much. And then I did it a third time with the Regal logo, which looks like a damn hardware store. And it still doesn't line up, and I put an orange number on an orange line, and I'm like... But I can take a breath, because I think I redeemed myself. For the second half of the season, I designed this scheme, which I think looks miles better. And it comes in Ellie Productions, Regal, and Altitude flavors. Oh, the Sterling Marlin throwback. I was so proud of myself when I made this. I even made like a little poster that you would like put up in a bar. This is like one of the few good cars I had back then. But still, by far my favorite scheme that I designed from that year is this Avengers End Game Car. This was my first time using like a space agey background. Also my first time using purple, which I love purple cars. I had like the disintegrating number. You got the cap's ass on the back, and then probably my favorite part is this Thanos Avenge the Fallen thing on the back. I mean, this car just looks good. I'm sorry. I love this car to death. And now here's some replica schemes. We got Austin Dillon AAA and Ryan Newman with the Oscar Mayer. This took me 2 days. And I'm sorry, but I don't think you could pay me to line these dots up. There was no way. I really love this paint scheme, but can somebody please explain to me how we went from this to that? Trash my paint schemes all you want, but at least I know how to put a logo on a hood. And we have the Eric Almirola car, Ryan Blaney. Ooh, we got Martin Truex, and look at that. I learned how to line a logo up. We got Eric Jones, David Reagan, and then a really faded Daniel Suarez car. Now we arrive at 2020, and just fair warning, you are going to see this car a lot. Like, a lot. And here are the last Regal cars before they unceremoniously fired me. Oh, here's one I really like. It's a Christmas store car. It's got garland on the side. It's got snow falling. And then I wrapped lights around the number. I mean, if you look closer, it doesn't look that great, but hey, we've seen worse. Here we have an aquamarine Tivoli car. I was getting into the reflective numbers before it was cool. And we have a Martin Truex Jr. Parody car, and it comes in black, red, and then here's a test car. I didn't really put any logos on it, but for anybody who dares to follow me, there is a surprise. Here's a weird, like, Davey Allison throwback. What's with the Goodyear logo? Oh, and here's where I honored some of the greatest NASCAR drivers ever. This one's for Richard Petty. This one's Dale Earnhardt. Here's Jimmy Johnson. And then, of course, the greatest of all time, Lightning McQueen. In my opinion, I think the best part of this car was definitely the Rusty's Ellie Productions logo. Then we have this monstrosity of a Bang Energy car. Wow, I didn't even come close. I didn't even come fucking close on that one. Here's a good one. I just made Kyle Larson's McDonald's car, but instead of McDonald's, it says Uwu. I even made it so it says I'm loving it on the back. When I have to face my judgment, how do I explain this to God? And now we arrive at 2021, definitely the busiest year in terms of making paint schemes. This one was to advertise my Hooters 500 stop motion, and while it looks pretty good from this side, we go to the other side. See, the owl logo wasn't really working for the other side of the car, and so my fix was to just put a bunch of cars on there. Here's another iteration of the firewall scheme. Looks pretty good. Still looks pretty good. Then I made this really basic ass DoorDash car, which honestly I think looks better than the actual car from 2021. I hate to say it, but sometimes simplicity is bliss, and I think this is one of those occasions. Oh, here's one I really like. Here's the Elite Entertainment car. Then you got the logo with the gradient on it. It's a good looking car. Now here's one I designed for Brandon German. It's a nice go bowling car. You know, you see got the bowling alley texture. We got the pins right here, and then we got a blue bowling ball. Then I also made a Netflix car for him, which I think looks pretty good. On one side, you got just a regular sunset, but then on the other, you got the upside down from Stranger Things. I think it's pretty cool. So these past like 5 designs, I made them all in like one day. And so you could tell this is where I kind of got a little bit antsy. I wanted to kind of mix like Chase Elliott's 2016 car with like Martin Truex's 2013 car. And I think this is a nice result. I still don't know what my deal is with big ass logos on the back. I couldn't tell you. Then we got this Lumar car. It's just kind of the same as Chase Elliott's from last year. And listen, I'm just going to say it. This scheme sucks. I mean, it's a horrible scheme. It looks like shit. But then I kind of redeemed myself with this Pepsi car. You got the nice flames on it. You know, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's kind of good. I kind of like it. Now we're kicking it back with the throwbacks. Here's a Kyle Petty Mellow Yellow throwback. Really, the only hard part of this deal was making the logo. This was where I first learned how to make a path in Photoshop, and to be honest, I still don't really know. Now we have a Furniture Row Racing throwback, which looks pretty good, but that looks nothing like the Furniture Row logo. I don't know what I was trying to do there. And then for Brandon German, I made a Ron Fellows throwback. I think it looks pretty good. JRM number font. And then I made the Zippo logo look like the Canadian Tire logo. I mean, it looks pretty good. Then I also made this nice Netflix Jeff Gordon throwback, which is funny because I made it say Netflix instead of Netflix, and I just didn't notice it. I then proceeded to spend the next 2 hours fixing it, and I think I got maybe 3 hours of sleep that night. And then, of course, with a Jeff Gordon car, you also have to have the Terry Labonte car. I think this one looks pretty good with the right number fonts and Kellogg's logos. You can kind of tell this is where I started to take it a lot more seriously. This one, I really like this one because I couldn't decide whether to do an Alan Kulwicki or a Davey Allison throwback, so I just did both. On the left side, you got like the Hooters design, and then on the right side, I did the Davey Allison car. I'm sure if this ran in real life, people would say it's the ugliest thing they've ever seen, but I like it. I think it's pretty good. Now here's the All-Star car, just a little star design instead of the regular firewall. Although it is really funny with the blurry ass confetti on the right side. Now here's an alternate version of the firewall scheme, sans the tires. Just instead of Ellie Productions, it says Ban Alex. You wouldn't get it. And then here is my truck version of said scheme, which I think is the last one. And here is where I finally got off my fat ass and started designing new Ellie Productions cars. This one was my favorite for a while. You can see I still use that EP texture on the bottom, but whereas the car is red on the left side, it's black on the right side. See, this is why I wish NASCAR allowed double-sided liveries. When they're done right, they look so good. Now, these are my first 2 attempts at making an Indy car. Here's mine. It was another double-sided one. On the right side, it's red, but on the left side, it's black. And then here's my second attempt making a Best Water Technology car for Brandon German. This thing took me hours because on this side of the template, there was not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 sections of template that this logo covered. I was copying, pasting, rotating, moving for hours. So if any of you want to make a BWT car like this, just don't do it. Worst mistake of my life. Now here we have the championship winning Ellie Productions car from the 5th season of EPRS. Obviously because of the championship, this one holds a special place with me, but also because there were multiple versions of this. I also had a night version car that was mainly white, a black version of the car that I just never ran. It was just part of the paint scheme vote, and then a very holly jolly festive Christmas version of the car. And look at that. I even made the little EPs line up on the back. Now these only took me 4 days, which I'm honestly kind of impressed with because there's a lot of them. I remade every 2021 NASCAR playoff car as a Formula One car. Some of them look kind of meh, but honestly, some of them look really good. I really love the Alex Bowman car. I don't know why they ever did away with this car. Now, you may have noticed that some of my templates are Hudson Hornets, and you may be wondering, where did I get it? I made it myself. And this is a warning to all of you. I will turn every car into a Hudson Hornet. Oh, you think I'm lying. Look, the Pinty's car, Gen 6, the next gen car, a fucking hatchback, a fucking Craftsman Truck Series car. I will turn any car into a Hudson Hornet. Do not test me. Don't worry about that. And then we have this Hudson Hornet super stock truck with the Ellie Productions sponsor. Yeah, that seems about right. Now this one needs some context. For one of the races that I ran, we had a race where the theme was album covers, and so you make your car look like an album cover. And the one I chose was Brothers. Surprisingly, this did not take all that long, but it gets worse the longer you look at it. I mean, it's the best car I've designed yet. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Here's a Dale Jr. throwback that I almost won in multiple times, but I didn't because pain. Here's a nice Tony Stewart throwback where I tried to make the Tony Stewart 4 and the Ryan Newman 9 fit together, and they just kind of don't. I did both a Mobile One and a Office Depot Ellie Productions Parody logo. I even worked the little EP onto the Rubik's Cube on the back. Now, I'm from Colorado, and we take our sports really seriously, but I'm not the biggest sports fan. And I mean, I guess there was this little hockey club that won their little championship recently. It's not a big deal. I don't really care about it that much. I mean, it's not really my thing. I don't even really care that much. I'd never be the first one to admit it, but it was pretty cool, I guess. And now finally, we've arrived at the car I'm currently running, the Ellie Productions 10th anniversary car. And I gotta say, I feel like this is my favorite one yet. In a weird way, I feel like this car kind of shows off every way I've improved as a graphic designer. I mean, all the logos look nice and crisp. I'm using shadows, gradients, textures. I'm making things line up on multiple parts of the template. I mean, it's just a good looking car and I'm really proud of it. Now I'd say that's a good note to end on, but we have one more. It's far and away the best car I have ever designed, and the crazy thing is, it only took me 5 minutes to make. Bye!